We're dinking around with Eddie and Webby. Dinking around with Eddie and Webby tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Got him. Oh, hey, how's it going? This is Webby, not Eddie. And this is our 79th Dinking Around. Oh, yeah. And unfortunately, just like last week, Eddie will not be joining us for this episode because he is busy traveling around the country with Close Call Replay, providing the best instant replay line challenge system in all of Pickleball. But fear not, we are going to have a very fun episode. We have a special guest co-host joining us soon. But before he does join us, I do want to give a big thank you to Volair Pickleball for making such great paddles. In fact, before we ever formed any kind of partnership with them, we were using their paddles and we're big fans. My personal favorite at the moment is the Mach 2 Forza. It has a huge sweet spot, it has great spin, and really good control, and that is why I love it. It's perfect for my style of play. And if you go to the Volair website and use discount code PB for life, that's going to get you 10% off your order, and it's going to show us some support in the process, which we are always very appreciative of. So thank you very much, Volair. But one more thing before our special guest co-host joins us, I want to give a shout out to our good friends Jojo+Lo. It was recently announced that they are doing a collaboration with Chicken and Pickle, to where Jojo+Lo are going to be creating some special custom t-shirts for 10 of the Chicken and Pickle locations. And if you've never been to a Chicken and Pickle, those places are absolutely amazing. They invested in pickleball way before the big boom happened, so I can't think of a better collaboration than Jojo+Lo and Chicken and Pickle, two great companies in the pickleball space. So looking forward to seeing the kind of designs you guys come up with. But without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on our special guest co-host for the evening. He has been playing pickleball for 50 years now. That's right, since 1974, he has been involved in this amazing sport. He is a longtime friend of ours and has been on the podcast numerous times. And to add to all that, he is in the Pickleball Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the show, Steve Paranto. How's it going, Steve?
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me. I can't believe it. I'm a co-host. I moved up on your show.
That's right.
Instead of a guest. Wow.
Yeah, that's right. There haven't been many co-hosts in the history of our show, and you are one of them.
Terrific.
Great to see you again. It's been a while.
It has. A lot of things have happened in not only the pickleball world in general, but my pickleball world.
Where are you right now? It looks like you're in a pretty cool looking place.
I am at the Paranto Playhouse. This is my 2 indoor court facility, but it's a giant man cave.
Nice.
So I've got billiards, table tennis, foosball, shuffleboard, half-scale bowling alley, darts, cornhole, karaoke. It's been a blast.
Wow. That sounds amazing. That sounds like not just a man cave. It sounds like a man palace.
Yeah, and it's just about 50 yards from my house.
That is awesome.
We bought this property 2 years ago, and it took this building here now has been finished since December, so it's still fairly new.
I think the first time you were on the show, you talked about it was like a dream of yours to make a place like this. So, man, how does that feel to have it become a reality?
Oh, yeah, I don't stop smiling when I'm having my pickleball nights with all the guys over.
Oh, I bet.
And girls. Just been a blast. And that right now I got 2 of my kids that I've worked with training in the background. That's also a treat too. Would you like to meet the boys here?
Yeah, definitely. We can always count on Steve to give us a tour of whatever location he's at. Man, look at that place. A private 2-court man cave. That's incredible.
So total coincidence. This is my next door neighbor, Ryan Hickman. He and his father took lessons from me. Oh, it's been a little over a year ago now at Rex, where I also teach. And they said, hey, by the way, we're your next door neighbors. And I said, well, I'm moving out. I moved out there so I could build an indoor pickleball facility. They says, well, we're building one too. So Ryan, my next door neighbor, has an indoor court also.
Oh, wow.
And then right over here is Riley. His grandmother, had me give him lessons going on about 3 or 4 years ago. And he got hooked to the sport. And now, I mean, when he's not working, he's playing pickleball. But this is 2 courts. And over here is kind of the all the game areas. So table tennis, shuffleboard. This game is called carpet ball. Billiards is over there. The bathroom's kind of cool because I decorated it using my dad's old Pro Light paddles.
Oh, cool.
Oh, so on the wall here, these are, can you see those?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So those are some of the very originals that Dad made in Eatonville, Washington. So he handmade all those.
Man, so even the bathroom is like a little museum there. That's awesome.
We have a lot of museum type things in here. My dad's Hall of Fame jacket is mounted right here.
Very cool.
And I was a tennis player first, and these are all pictures I took of great tennis players back in the 70s. I was a photographer. I had a darkroom, so I've got Vita Scarolitis here, Navratilova, Bjorn Borg, Rod Laver, Jimmy Connors, Billie Jean King,
Wow.
Stan Smith, Nastasi, and Chris Everett. And I also like basketball, so Bill Walton and Jack Ramsey. This is me when I was 21 years old with Tom Gorman. He was the Davis Cup captain at that time and my idol because he was from Seattle and I was raised in that neck of the woods. So I did put all my medals up strung them up.
Oh, wow. You got a couple medals there.
Basically, that's really only from the 2000s on because early on we had trophies. In fact, I fetched this trophy. Like I said, this is my 50th year playing. I don't know if anybody else would be able to find a pickleball trophy that says 1975 on it.
Wow.
But that was a singles championship at my community college. Then upstairs, this is a really great viewing area and more games. And my bowling alley. Everything's half scale, shuffleboard, and karaoke corner where you can drum and sing karaoke. And this is the viewing area.
Man, this place is awesome. Do you ever leave? I mean, I feel like I would just live there and stay there all the time.
Everybody says that. Well, I'm down here a lot.
Man, that is so cool.
But that's a little tour of the playhouse.
Well, while you get settled back into position there, I do have a very important question for you.
What in the world is in that drink? What you got in that drink?
I didn't show you the kegerator, but my kegerator's right over here. And I have a nice IPA that I kegged about 3 weeks ago.
Oh, nice. So you made that yourself?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's a very tasty IPA. I used to have about 3 or 4 beers on tap, but now that I have so many kids that aren't 21, I have root beer on tap.
Oh, okay.
And I have a kind of a health drink on tap because I think they like the root beer the best. But I did brew the root beer.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah.
So tonight, what I will be drinking, it's one of my favorites, especially now that it's starting to cool off a little bit. It's almost fall, and this is from Founders Brewing Company, and this is Breakfast Stout. This is one of my favorites. I absolutely love this beer. Looking forward to sipping on this evening.
Oh, yeah, I like stouts.
Cheers. All right, well, now that we got our beverages, it's time for one of my favorite segments that we do on the show now, and that is...
Memes of the Week.
That's right, Memes of the Week, where we show off some funny videos that we found on the internet that are pickleball related. So I'm going to go first this week. This comes from our friend Evan Slaughter of Fit to Serve, and this is called The Pickleball Partner That Doesn't Contribute.
You. Yours. Got it? I got it. Why'd you let him slam it on you like that? It's your serve.
Can you hand me the ball?
It's right here. You. Yours.
Evan, I can't get the ball.
I got it. Mine.
I feel like most of us have experienced something like that in the real world, especially at rec play.
Yeah. One of the benefits of having your own pickleball facility is you don't invite those people to play.
Right. But yeah, I definitely have experienced that, especially when I do rec play at public courts. And part of me thinks if my daughter saw that, she might say that I represent Evan in that video, but I
Uh-huh.
wouldn't say I'm that extreme, but that was very funny. Well done, Evan. What about you, Steve? Did you bring us a video clip today?
Yeah, I found one, being that I am a pickleball instructor and there's so many of us out there now, I thought you would enjoy seeing one of those pickleball instructors that you see at the public courts.
All right, let's take a look.
I'm a pickleball instructor. You need to be bouncy. You need to be bouncy. To be honest with you, I have no idea why this sport exploded. These people have no idea how much of a scam this is. So what you're doing wrong is you're donking your dinks. When you're dinking, you can't be donking. That's you. You're donking your dinks. I'm just making shit up at this point. Sometimes you go rogue, all right? So I call this a cycloning. This isn't even a real sport. It was invented for the elderly to improve their blood circulation. Now every 30-something with no stamina and bad knees is hitting me up to learn how to play. These people are too unathletic for tennis and too poor for golf. This is their only option. Dink it. You call that dinking? I am making so much money off of this. The key to pickleball is a good paddle. I'm selling these for $300 a piece. Who wants one? Yeah, I got really burned by crypto. This really saved me. You'd be surprised with what people believe when they're paying you $150 an hour. This is why they call it pickleball. Okay, ready? Pickle. There you go, right there. See how I did that?
Oh man, that was funny. That was Chris Barnes comedy. Thank you, Chris. That was a very funny video. Well done.
Yeah, I've never seen him before.
It's cool to see people get involved in pickleball that aren't normally involved in pickleball, especially in the comedy world. So I appreciate that kind of thing. And anybody who wants to give more visibility to pickleball, I always appreciate. Even though nowadays I feel like everybody knows pickleball, it's crazy how much it's changed in the last few years.
Absolutely. I did. I don't know if you saw that. I mean, who would have ever thought, maybe you didn't see the news on this, that now even assassins are playing pickleball.
Assassins?
You know what I'm talking about?
I don't think so.
So last night, my mixed doubles partner sent me an article. So the guy that just tried the latest assassination attempt of President Trump in the golf course,
Yeah.
he's a pickleball player in Hawaii, a regular player.
Wow.
Somebody said that they've played with him before.
Oh, man. But yeah, I absolutely love the memes of the week segment. But Steve, do you know what time it is?
No, what time is it?
Now it's time for Topics of the Week.
That's right, Topics of the Week. This is where each of us bring a topic that we want to discuss. And Steve, let's go ahead and start with you. You are our special guest co-host. I'd love to see what kind of topic you want to discuss tonight.
Well, this has been brought up on many pickleball podcasts. 2 or 3 years ago, when probably the last time I was on your show, we would have never predicted the situation we're in with paddle approval.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, it's a mess, obviously. I haven't even been that excited about playing local tournaments recently because I have no idea if paddles are, what kind of weapon they're holding in their hand as far as speed and spin. There's no way of testing at local tournaments. And I don't know, it's just something that's gotta change.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy now. Eddie and I have touched on this briefly in the past, but not really super in depth. But yeah, like some of the paddles that are being made these days are just absolutely insane. How much power they have and how fast they are, and like it's starting to get dangerous. Like if you don't wear eye protection, I feel like it's a risk to play when you play with people that have certain paddles these days. And it's just crazy that there's not really like a good consistent way of doing the approvals these days. Like what is that all about?
Now, Carl Schmitz actually lives fairly close to me. He's played here at my playhouse. He's the one of the head guides for testing for USA Pickleball.
Yeah.
He has assured me that right around the corner, and this announcement has been out, so this isn't brand new news, that exit speed and spin rate will soon be tested by a machine-like device. So they will exactly know what speed is coming off a paddle when a ball is going so fast into a paddle that's held by a machine or a robot, right? So we will know which paddles are faster than others. Now the trick will be, where do we set the limit? Have we already gone too far, or do we back up? Or the most powerful paddles that are out there now, is that going to be the limit? Are they going to have to sunset some paddles, meaning, okay, these paddles, these 20 models, ball comes off too fast, so they've got 16 months to sell them, and then we go backwards.
Yeah, that's a great question because I know, especially with Yola, a lot of the Yola paddles that are out there right now. What do you do in that situation? Do you say that, okay, like these are not legal? Do you have to, like, and then they have to scrap all those paddles that were already made? This topic, it actually makes me think, I would love to know what your take is on, like, what are your thoughts on there being a whole new organization that PPA and MLP use that isn't even going by the USAP standards, where they have like their own testing style that they use?
Right. Well, I'm worried that we're going to have two. Do you remember, what was it, 4 years ago, where I was on your show because there was going to be another Hall of Fame?
Yep.
And remember that battle? And in fact, your show helped actually a lot so that we only have one. But I am worried about a different criteria by different approvals, where then you use one paddle can be used in this tournament, one paddle can be used here, and then what do we use at rec? Really, what matters for 99% of the pickleball players is what can they use in rec play.
Right.
Because that's really what the sport's all about, are all the rec players. And
yeah,
so I don't think there's really a simple answer right now. I hope that we get one test that both organizations agree with, one exit speed and one spin test that everybody agrees with, and that's going to change how paddles are made, though, which is fine. If the spin rate it's definitely going to be higher than the old days, right? Because we already have that.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but if you've watched pickleball from even 3 years ago, Seymour Rifkin, also in the Hall of Fame, was just here at my house this last week, and we were watching the Pickleball channel, and up pop a match from 2 years ago with Anna Lee and top players, and then the rain stopped, so there was a rain delay. Then we watched them today, and it was way faster, same people, but we're trying to decide what do we like better to watch, and I think we like the new modern power. I mean, as far as spectators watching what these pros could do today, I think was more entertaining, and that's going to be a big factor too.
Yeah, I totally agree. So what are your thoughts on that, though? Like, do you think the current paddles that are currently legal, do you think they've gone too far, or do you think they're okay, but we just don't want to go any further than that?
Well, here's the thing. When I get to use one of those power trampoline paddles, everybody knows the paddles I'm talking about that are a trampoline.
Yeah.
And I'm the only one that gets to use them. I love
it. Right.
Now, if I don't get to use one and my opponents get to use one, I hate it. So I think what we have to determine is when all the players have access to those, let's face it, all the pros can't play with those. They're all sponsored. Yep. And so right now, certain players at the pro level have a big advantage. At the rec level, what I'm worried about is what's going to stop somebody from using something that's even twice as powerful as that. They don't care if it's a pro. Well, we're just playing rec play.
Right. Yeah.
But those kind of paddles really wreck a game when one person has one and no one else does.
Yeah. Well, I remember, I forget which company it was, but there was a paddle out there that they admitted this is not USAP approved, but they were still selling it. Do you remember which paddle that was?
Yeah, I think that was the Vibe. And it even had holes in it.
Yeah, that's it.
And it was a big time foam paddle. So think of a cork baseball bat.
Yeah.
And that's what it did. Well, we still have some of those in rec play. They're out there. I gave lessons to this gentleman about 3 weeks ago. Never met him before in my life. He's an inventor. He came to me with these two paddles he invented. He wanted to use me to use it and him to use it, and he brought me goggles to wear during the lesson.
Oh, geez.
Because this was an extreme trampoline paddle.
Wow.
That felt like a tennis racket in my hand. And I said, you've got to realize people aren't going to want to play with you with this paddle. He goes, I'm finding that out. But anyway, I mean, that's the extremes.
Yeah.
But so I hope we get a handle on this soon. Who's going to do it first? Is it going to be USA Pickleball? Is it going to be PPA that has, a real good test for exit speed and for spin rate? Some people are saying, and it might be true, we can even go higher with the spin, but can't go higher with the power. What I want to see is a game that maintains variety. I don't want to see just bang, bang, no more long rallies. And I
Yep.
don't want to see my era 50-shot dink rallies either.
Right.
I don't want to see either one of those. And so what's going to be the power and spin rate that makes all of us happy, where we still have a game where you can reset the ball from the transitional area. You can still drive the ball on a third. You have a variety. I don't want it to be what tennis has become, or even table tennis has become. Table tennis is now mainly all about the serve and the return, and that's it.
Yep.
And tennis, how often do they hold serve? Like 95% of the time. Hold serve,
Right.
hold serve. Oh, it's a tiebreaker, 7-6, 7-6, 7. Well, that's no good.
Right.
And so I want us to have that balance in our sport. So it's going to be tricky for the people, it's going to need to be some smart people that are probably pickleball players, not just people who have money running pickleball, but people that are actually pickleball players and understands resetting, what to reset and dink and drive, and what it takes to have a balance. So that's what I want to see.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I absolutely love when a game in a pickleball match has, like you said, a good balance is perfect when it comes to spectating. So, yeah, hopefully something can be done to where we can maintain that, because I do not want it to get really any faster than it is now.
Yeah, well, maybe 2 years from now, when I'm co-hosting again, we will have this solved.
Yeah, hopefully. And hopefully before that time, I'm able to come check out your man cave there and check out the playhouse. Yeah, I gotta get there and play there one of these days and make some content there. I cannot wait to go there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I had, I don't know if you even know this, but we're trying to get our own podcast off the ground. My club Rex in Oregon here in Clackamas. I'm the host, and it's called the Pickleball Fountain of Youth.
Yeah, I've actually listened to it.
Yeah, and last week we haven't put it out yet, but I'm excited because it's with Dane Gingrich and Jill Martin.
Oh, nice.
So we had them here. So we had a good friend's birthday party that they attended, and we all played, and the next day we shot the podcast. So I'm excited about having celebrities like yourself here to the Playhouse. I've had Ernie here, more than once. Ernie Perry of the Ernie Shot.
Nice.
Enrique plays here regularly. El Condor. Had Carl here, with testing. We've had big wigs from Selkirk. I'm a Selkirk sponsored player. We've had EULA, the head EULA guys here. We've had other companies I can't mention yet because they're big. These are big sporting good companies that now want to get into pickleball, and they've been visiting lots of pickleball sites all over, and a friend brought them here. So
that's
it's
cool.
Just pretty fun to have all these people here.
That's awesome. Well, I thought that was a great topic, but as always, we would love to know what you guys tuning in think. What do you think? Has the game gone too far? Are we good where we're at? Do we need more regulations? Does the approval process need to get better? We would love to hear your thoughts on that. But as far as my topic, it's actually somewhat related to this, and it has to do with pickleball rules. And I wanted to find out what you thought about this. The PPA, they deviate a bit for some of the rules that USA Pickleball have established, and most notably when it comes to serving.
Right.
For example, there's serves. Anytime a serve hits the net and lands in bounds, that has to be redone. They do not play that in
only with the pros.
Only in the pros, yep.
But you're right. But on the PPA events that are not, they play it.
Yep. And then all these rules I'm talking about are just pro specific. So if the serve hits the net, they have to redo it. They do not allow drop serves, and this is kind of a newer thing that they've been testing out, but the serve must be a volley serve and must be released below the hip. I think that's supposed to be a way to try to de-weaponize the serve. So what are your thoughts on that? The fact that PPA has their own set of rules that the pros must follow, but nobody else, like none of the amateurs, nobody following USA Pickleball guidelines has to follow. Like, is that a good thing for the sport, or could that cause confusion for people that watch it? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I know absolutely it causes confusion. As an instructor at my club, I'll get people come up to me and say, Bill just told me I can't toss the ball up when I serve. And I go, well, why? Well, I see it on TV. And I go, no, that's just for the pros. But I mean, I got that. I'm getting that all the time. And so they get confused on that. The idea that a pro is going to redo a net serve that lands in, to me, is ridiculous. I still have not seen a ball that hits the net that lands in the service box that a pro can't get to. I haven't seen it once.
Even in rec play, I barely see that. Like
Even if, yeah, it's barely.
Yeah.
But here's the problem that could happen. These guys want to have wagering in pickleball.
Yep.
Okay, so we have a big money event. We have a big money on the line. The serve maybe or maybe not hits the net, but the receiver said let. It was a let, and he got aced. Maybe he got aced. But he says let. Well, did it hit the net or did it not? Now we have an argument over that.
Yep.
That's a situation we can avoid by just playing those.
Yep. Totally agree.
And even in rec play, you should play them. Now, here, luckily my hearing is still good. I can even hear a cracked ball across the gym when a ball's cracked. But when a lot of seniors, when a ball barely touches the net, they can't hear it at all.
Right.
And and so the old days when we used to play those, I remember all the confusion of did it hit the net, did it not? Well, because they're too old to hear it. Where just play it. To me, it's just common sense that you would play a let serve because it's landing in the box. Now, I understand why majority of tennis, not all tennis, there's some collegiate tennis where a let serve, they play it, but the reason they don't play it in tennis is because the service box is in front of the net. So, if it just drips over, you can't get to it.
Right.
So tennis is a different thing. You can't compare those two things.
Yeah, and the only times that I have seen somebody not able to return the ball that was a let serve was somebody that was very elderly and they weren't the most mobile.
Right.
But even in those cases, like even when I play with elderly people, they typically don't have any issues returning it. So 2 rule changes that have happened since I got into pickleball that I am a huge fan of are the let serve rule where you do play it if the ball lands in play, and being able to do a drop serve. Those are 2 of my absolute favorite rule changes that have happened since I got involved in the sport. And both of those are illegal when it comes to PPA pro pickleball.
Right. And you know that I'm the creator of the drop serve. So,
oh, yeah.
And so that one really, when I was pushing for the drop serve, which is like 8 years ago, I kept putting out videos.
Yeah.
And Mark Pfeiffer got a hold of me and said, we're considering it. But only as a 1-year temporary provisional thing, see if overwhelmingly the pickleball world liked it because there were so many new people learning, it was easier for them to learn. That isn't why I created it. I created it so there would be no more judgment. Is contact below your waist or above your waist? Do you have an upward motion or downward motion? Well, it doesn't matter with the drop serve. All these arguments we're seeing, and every month someone posts a video of somebody's serve. Is my serve legal? And they post it.
Yep.
And then they even have it in slow motion, and people disagree if it's legal or not. And these refs are supposed to know in real time if that's a legal serve or not currently, when we could solve that issue by a drop serve. Now, what I've been told is PPA is afraid it doesn't look cool. But it doesn't look cool because they're only used to seeing amateurs do it.
Right.
Zane Navratil just put out a video of him doing a drop serve, and it looks cool.
Oh yeah, because you can do a pretty good aggressive serve. I know there were so many complaints about the drop serve like before it became a thing, and one of them was like, "Oh, people are going to weaponize the serve so bad," but nobody did.
No, nobody did because remember, you can use the drop serve in the APP, and none of the pros use it.
Yeah,
because it isn't going to be as big a weapon because contact point's going to be about 8 inches lower.
Yeah,
and it's all about contact point. When we attack third ball drives, we're not going to attack one that's 6 inches off the ground. It's the very same thing. So that solves so many issues. It solves the weaponizing thing, and I don't mind really the serve being weaponized to at least some degree. That's really not the big issue. But the big issue is determining if a serve is legal or not.
Right.
I do think it's the easy way to solve this issue, and I really think it should be the only serve with everyone.
Yeah, I was a little reluctant to that being the only way to serve, but I recently started using the drop serve a little more just to play around with it, and I do like it a lot. And I would be totally fine if that became the only legal type of serve because of what you said, because that would eliminate any of the questions on if the serve was legal or not. But then it also has the added bonuses of it's super easy for new people to do, and the fact that it de-weaponizes it. So it just seems like a win-win-win. I don't know why PPA doesn't like it. I guess because, like what you said, they think it doesn't look cool. But I mean, if that was the only way to do it, the pros would be able to make it a good aggressive serve. Maybe not as aggressive as like the old spin serve used to be and stuff like that. But I mean,
yeah,
they'll be able to do some really good serves with the drop serve if that becomes the only legal way to do it.
right. No, they would. The other big plus about the drop serve is, one of the complaints about pickleball. I even heard people say, "Well, tall people are taking over the sport. Let's move the kitchen back." Well, that might even backfire and make tall people even dominate more. But tall people, so Deckle Bar, his waist is probably over a foot higher than the net height, at least.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he can serve from a very high point. Now, if Deckle drops the ball, even as tall as he is, the ball bounce is going to be below net height.
Yep.
So, and let's say Zane, who I think Zane said he's 5'8". I keep mentioning him because he's also a big proponent of what I'm saying of the drop serve. And he should be, because he's only 5'8". So if he does a drop serve, and if Deckle does a drop serve, Deckle's only serving from a inch higher, not 14 inches higher.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And so it is an equalizer. And when the sport was invented, it really was meant to be so that tall people and small people could compete with each other. That's why that's why the kitchen was created.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons why I feel like most of us fell in love with pickleball is because you can play good, fun, competitive games no matter your size, no matter your age, it's a great sport for everybody. And then it can be super fast-paced and intense, but it could also be slower and like big dink rallies and stuff. It's really just whatever you want out of it, you can make, and that's just one of the things that is so appealing about it. And I do not agree with a lot of the things that PPA has done.
Yeah, when at the very I can't remember who I talked to from PPA, but when they weren't going to allow the drop serve, and that they didn't tell me because it didn't look cool. What they told me, and they'll probably deny it, but they told me, well, we're going to wait and see how the pros and the APP use it to see, because they were afraid it was going to be a big weapon. They told me, just like everybody else told me.
Yeah.
And I said, well, it won't be. And it isn't. And so if that was the only thing stopping them, they should be using it. But from what I've been hearing, it's the cool factor.
Well, I remember even Eddie was afraid that it would become a weapon.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yep. And he claimed to have seen people use it like as a weapon and stuff, but I don't know. I still have never seen anybody really weaponize the drop serve.
Well, they could, but not consistently.
Yeah.
So it is a risk reward when you go for a drop serve as a weapon. It's risk reward, and the risk is pretty high. Yeah, you might be able to spin one off with a little side spin off to the corner, but then you might miss the court. So it's high risk reward to use it as a big weapon.
Yeah, either hitting it out of bounds or hitting it into the net is probably what happens the majority of the time for people that try to like really weaponize it.
Right. I do think the pros would weaponize it somewhat, but not to the degree that they are when they're striking the ball 12 inches above the net height.
Right. But yeah, my money is on Zane to come up with the best weaponized version of the drop serve. I feel like he's always able to push the boundaries of the rules when it comes to the serve, so I would love to see more from him.
A lot of people don't realize this, but Kyle Yates was before COVID. Kyle was drop serving. Him and Tyson were working on it quite a bit when it was first a thing to see if they could weaponize it.
Yeah.
And Kyle was using it in our local tournaments up here, even when he came here. Tyson, I don't know if he ever used it in a tournament, but he was practicing it and had a video, and it looked cool when Tyson did it.
I feel like Tyson can make anything look cool. He's just such a cool guy.
Well, just the tattoos alone make that look good. So
right.
I'm pretty proud to say I certified Tyson as an instructor.
Oh, nice.
This was we're talking 8 years ago. So I was always rooting for him when, back there was a time period where all those singles finals were Ben and Tyson. This is around 2017, 18, 19.
Yeah.
Those were the, and so that was, and I knew who Ben was, but I was always kind of rooting for Tyson since I certified him as an instructor. That was a fun experience.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of Tyson. And I remember that when I first got into pickleball and first discovered the pro pickleball world, yeah, that was the big rivalry, Tyson and Ben, when it came to singles. They were exchanging victories back and forth, and then eventually Ben kind of started winning more and more and more and more. But yeah, that was a lot of fun watching them play against each other.
I was there when he won his first singles national championship, and it was pretty emotional for him to win. He worked so hard to win that, and I think it was Marcin. He beat in the finals. And if you remember Marcin Rosymski, because Marcin had won it, I think 2 years prior.
Yeah, but Tyson, he's always been a great guy. There'll be times where I don't see him for very long periods of time, and I'll wonder, like, is he even going to remember who I am? And then he's usually the one that comes up to me and is like, hey, man, gives me a hug and says good to see you and stuff like that. And a lot of the pros don't do that anymore. A lot of them who we had on the show, like when they first were starting to get into the pro world, I feel like a lot of them, when they see me, they kind of don't recognize me at first, but Tyson is one that always recognizes Eddie and I. He always makes a point to come up to us and talk to us and stuff like that. And it's little things like that that I think go a long way. And that's why I think even if he's not winning as much as Ben, I still think that's what makes him like top tier and a fan favorite.
He's made it. He's still making it to quite a few semis and finals. He just made it to the finals in men's doubles this weekend.
Yeah,
and he's on the older side compared to these guys. So he's working hard. So, yeah, you guys had the really the first pickleball podcast. There was maybe one other one, and then I had the one that was only a call-in show. Do you remember? So
yeah. I remember that.
And I came on your show. You guys came on my show. But
yeah, that was fun.
I always thought it was funny because one of my guests was a nudist pickleball player.
Yeah.
and you guys advertised my show earlier in the days by saying, hey, if you want to listen to some nudity, watch that, because you could only listen to my show. But if you want to listen to some nudity, it was called Pickleball Talks back then. You can turn into Pickleball Talks because my show was right after your show, I believe.
Yeah, that was a fun night. Yeah, we had Steve on our show, and both of them were live. We both did our shows live. Ours was live video version on YouTube and Twitch and all that fun stuff. And then I think we had like a 30-minute break in between, and then Steve started his live call-in show, and then we were the guests on that. That was super fun. I loved that.
Right. I just couldn't afford to keep losing $500 a month on my show.
Right. Yeah, honestly, sometimes Eddie and I are like, why do we still do our show? We're not really, like, if anything, we're paying to do the show, but I don't know. It's fun for us still. It's a good way for us to hang out from across the country, and that's like really, if it wasn't for that aspect of it, we probably wouldn't still be doing our show, but I still have a blast with it. But, man, this has been super fun, Steve. Thank you very much for joining us as co-host. What do you think of the new format, having just like 3 like set segments like this?
Oh, I like it. And everybody's attention span is pretty short out there. So, moving things along quickly from one thing to another, that's good. I like the memes. There's so many out there. They're funny. There's really clever people out there putting these videos out there. You guys had a great music video back in the day.
Well, speaking of that, I have a new song parody music video that I'm going to start working on soon. I have the audio recorded. I just got to shoot the video for it, so that'll be our first one in a very long time. But that's one of the things I love doing those. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I feel like they don't always get the most views, but they're just super fun. Something I like to do at least a couple times a year.
That's where you and I have something in common, because we're big Weird Al Yankovic fans.
Yeah.
And so I've written quite a few pickleball parodies, and I like When we have parties here, I usually sing about 3 or 4 of them. I'm writing a new one now to the melody of me and Julio down by the schoolyard. So that's my that's my melody. So yeah, working on that right now. It's fun to do that.
A bucket list item for me is still to collaborate with you at some point and do a song parody together. I don't know what it would be of, but I feel like it would be magical, and I feel like we got to make that happen at some point.
That sounds good.
Now, speaking of Weird Al, there's something I got to show off real quick here. So this is one of my prized possessions. About a year and a half ago, I finally met Weird Al in person and had him autograph this Mad magazine with him on the cover.
Wow.
This is this is something I am very proud of. So if I ever get a fancy man cave, well, I have a man cave right now, but if I ever get a fancy pickleball location like you have, that will be like something that's like front and center.
Yeah. Well, with all these celebrities playing pickleball, maybe Weird Al will be a pickleball player and he'll come and play pickleball with you.
I'm hoping. In the very limited time I had with him, one of the questions I asked him was, "Do you play pickleball?" And what do you think his answer was?
I don't know. He knew what pickleball was, right?
He knew what it was, but he had never played it before. He said, I've never played it, but I feel like I should. That was his answer.
I think he's probably writing a song about it right now.
Yeah, that was a year and a half ago, so I do feel like he probably has played it since then. And part of me wonders, like, was I the motivating factor? If I ever meet him again, I'll ask him that question again, and then maybe he'll be like, yeah, and as a matter of fact, I did a meet and greet, and somebody asked if I played pickleball, and that motivated me to go play the following weekend.
or to write this song.
Right, yeah.
That would be a perfect song, it'd be about old white guys playing pickleball probably.
Yeah.
That would be terrific.
Man, this has been such a fun night getting a chance to hang out with Hall of Famer Steve Paranto. But something else that's a lot of fun is feeling good. And I can't think of many people that know more about how fun it is to feel good than the fine folks over at Jigsaw Health. And one way that I like to feel good is by starting my mornings by drinking a bottle of Pickleball cocktail. I absolutely love the blue raspberry flavor. And if you guys go to the Jigsaw Health website and use discount code PB4Life10, that's going to get you 10% off your order. And it's going to show us some support in the process, which we are always super appreciative of. So thank you, and thank you, Jigsaw Health. But I can't think of a better way to end this episode than by finding out Steve's
closing thoughts.
So what did we learn today? Well, we saw the meme of the partner that didn't contribute, the partner that you would like to avoid when you're playing rec play. And then I suggested the one with the pickleball instructor because that's what I am. And I love it when people make fun of my occupation. We've learned that currently our paddle approval situation is quite a mess. We really don't know what paddles we're playing against, how much power we should have, but hopefully right around the corner, please, right around the corner, that we get this exit speed and spin rate figured out and we decide what's best for the game so we still have a complete, cool game to watch and play that allows us to use all the varieties of shots that pickleball makes us so great. And as far as rules go, we are really confusing people by having one set of rules for pros, one set of rules for amateurs. And of course, I am biased. I created the drop serve. That this would solve so many issues with the serve once and for all.
Nice. Well, thank you, Steve. That was a great rundown of the episode. I thought this was a super, super fun episode. Thanks again very much for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you here. But that's going to do it for us here today for episode 79 of Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby. And until next time, this is Webby, not Eddie, signing off.
Well, we're dinking around with Eddie and Webby. Dinking around with Eddie and Webby tonight.
Oh yeah.